Sergei Pavlovich successfully defeated Curtis Blaydes in round number 1 by TKO in their fight this past Saturday. After the fight, Sergei would take to the microphone to ask a question about a title shot, saying, quote, "Hey, where's my belt at?" End quote. Sergei is ranked number 3 in the heavyweight division for a reason, and so in this video I'll be answering the question, does Sergei Pavlovich deserve a title shot? I'll first give some background information about Sergei and how he got to this point in his career. On December 20th, 2014, Sergei had his first professional MMA fight against Alexander Divariaka, and Sergei won by TKO in round number 1. After this fight, Sergei would win his next 10 fights before he got a championship fight with Fight Nights Global.
Fight Nights Global в тяжелом весе и остается непобежденным Sergei Pavlovich.
Sergei would successfully defeat Miguel Makanaki to become heavyweight champion of Fight Nights Global. Sergei would then defend that title successfully one more time before leaving Fight Nights Global to sign with the UFC. Sergei Pavlovich would make his UFC debut on November 24th, 2018 as the co-main event to Francis Ngannou vs. Curtis Blaydes 2. Sergei would end up fighting Curtis Blaydes later on in his career, but that night Sergei was focused on making his UFC debut against Alistair Overeem.
Champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. Daniel Cormier was telling me that he doesn't wrestle like the other Dagestani fighters, but he's no slouch on the floor.
Oh, big shots! Pavlovich is covering up! Overeem thinks the finish is here!
A big shelling here from Overeem, and he gets the finish!
Alistair Overeem would defeat Sergei Pavlovich in round number 1 by TKO, but this loss would not stop Sergei from making a name for himself in the UFC. This would be the only loss of Sergei's career. Sergei would go on to win his next 3 fights before getting a fight against Derek Lewis, and his fight against Derek Lewis is interesting. Sergei Pavlovich won that fight in under a minute, but the stoppage was very questionable. I feel judging by how the last few losses of Derek Lewis went, the stoppage was fair to an extent. But regardless of how the stoppage went, Sergei Pavlovich had won a fight in under a minute, and now he gets to fight a fan favorite in Tai Tuivasa, who had also beaten Derek Lewis. But there's no way he wins again in under a minute, right?
If Tuivasa's smart, he would try to clinch, but he'll keep swinging. Oh,
another knockdown for Pavlovich.
Oh my word.
Ties. Oh, what a monster! That's it! Do it!
Sergei Pavlovich defeated Tai Tuivasa in round 1 under a minute. For the second fight in a row now, Sergei finished his opponents in under a minute. Sergei Pavlovich would then defeat Curtis Blaydes, which is where we are now. And now we will talk about the current UFC heavyweight champion, Jon Jones. It's notable that Sergei weighed in as a backup for the Jon Jones vs. Cyril Gane fight, but didn't fight since both fighters made weight. Jon Jones is arguably the best light heavyweight of all time, and when he beat Cyril Gane to become heavyweight champion, Jon called out one of the best heavyweight champions of all time in Stipe Miocic.
The conversation was about you fighting during International Fight Week in July and possibly fighting former champion Stipe Miocic. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah, baby. Y'all want to see me beat up Stipe? One thing I know about
Rumors of Stipe and Jon fighting each other have been going on for a while now, and you would think since Jon called out Stipe live, and recently, the UFC would be working to make that fight happen, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Stipe for Jon does make a little bit of sense to make happen since Stipe is arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time, and Jon is arguably the best light heavyweight of all time. But Stipe is 40 years old and hasn't fought since March of 2021. I'm not saying Stipe would lose against Jon, but it seems like Jon would have more advantages being 5 years younger and fighting more recently. So this is where Sergei Pavlovich steps in. And do I think Sergei Pavlovich deserves a title shot? Yes, I do. I think Sergei Pavlovich is a very dominant heavyweight and could give Jon Jones a run for his money. You'd think that a person who attended the same high school as Stipe Miocic would be favoring Stipe over Sergei, but I'm not. I'm giving credit where credit is due. I think Sergei is more deserving than Stipe and should fight for the heavyweight title next, but this is just my opinion. But I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Sergei Pavlovich is deserving for a title shot? Do you think he's not? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.